couple years ago, I made a video called 5 Amateur Surface Design Mistakes and How to Fix Them. And today I am revisiting that subject. I want to talk about common mistakes I see in new surface pattern designers that are preventing their work from really looking professional. And I want to tell you how to address those mistakes. But before I do, I want to talk about the idea of being a beginner, of being an amateur. It's fine to be learning and exploring and playing with your patterns and trying to figure out what you enjoy and what you like. I'm not taking away from that at all. This video is really about, how to take something that's amateur and give it a professional shine, because a professional is someone who is creating art that is commercially viable, right? And that is what product manufacturers, art directors, and people who, companies who license art are looking for. They're looking for something that's commercially viable, that people are going to want to buy in stores, notebooks and flags and bedding and all the things that have artwork on it that is commercially viable. So if you're doing any of these things that I'm going to highlight today, do not beat yourself up, okay? This video is 100% about learning. It's not about shaming. And also, you might find you disagree with me, right? You might find that, no, sometimes it is okay to break the rules. And you know what? You go for it. I'm just giving this advice based on, I've 20 years of getting art direction, right? I've had freelance clients, I've had bosses, I've had all kinds of experience where I get feedback, and I've just had some feedback over and over again, and I know what works in the market. The first mistake that I see commonly with amateur designers is that their work has no connection to the commercial market, okay? If you want to be a surface designer, you have to be thinking about what sells, what is commercial. If you want to be a fine artist and live in your head and, there's no, be super creative and do whatever weird thing comes to you, that is your business and I love it for you. But if you want to get art on products, you are going to need to have some connection to the commercial market. So, looking through Spoonflower, I was in the kids section and I was seeing these themes like sardines and garlic, and I'm like, what kid would want to do this? So, thinking of the kids market, like if you have onions and cucumbers and you put cute eyes on them, that doesn't really make it a kid's print. This isn't something that happens in the kids market. Imagine a baby sheet that had spiders on it. That isn't something that people want for their children. For small babies, would you want this print? I mean, it's a fine print. It could be great for Halloween, but it doesn't work for kids' prints, right? So what can you do to fix this kind of problem? Shop your category regularly. And by shopping your category, I mean you don't actually have to buy anything, but look online. And your category, it could, whether it's kids, whether it's like you want to do home decor, whether you want to do apparel, whatever type of product you want to create, you need to be looking at what is currently being sold in the market. And you don't need to worry about being more trend forward. Make sure you're keeping, in line with what's happening currently, because if you can't keep in line with what's happening currently, then it's unlikely that art directors are going to be attracted to your work and want to put it on their products. Art directors aren't looking to take major risks on, let's be the first people that put sardines on kids' sheets or spiders on kids' sheets. Art directors aren't looking for that. They're looking for something that works for a majority of customers. All right, here's an example. This is something I recommend you do regularly, which is to simply Google what you want to design for. So baby bedding, instead of spider sheets, let's see what there is. When we're looking at these things, look for major stores: Crate and Barrel, West Elm, Target, Bye Bye Baby, Sweet JoJo Design, All right, and let's see what there is. We can just simply go to images. Now, some categories, you might see a lot of like print on demand examples. So you might search for fabric and see spoonflower and see Zazzle and see, or wall art and see Society 6. And it's not that those things aren't good. It's just not, we want to see what is commercially available, not what other artists are suggesting. So here, just looking at this, what I usually do is I go through these type of things and I right click, open in a new tab, and just I can see closer what's happening. But this is a cute little animal safari. These are dots. This is an animal. This is an animal. This is a rainbow. This is a sea animal, other animal, floral, trucks. This is this is a half moon, organic something, animal, 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 floral, animal, plaid, animal, animal. So, okay, spiders are technically animals, right? What kind of animals are we seeing? This is giraffes, pandas. These are zebras. There is a little snake in there. Very cute-ified, but yes, there is a snake. This is elephants, giraffes, lions, zebras, llama, elephants, giraffes, lions, elephants, elephants, lions, monkey, bear, elephants, giraffes, lions. Are you seeing something that is rainbows, organic sea, right? Whales. We saw whales before. Oh my God, this is so cute. I can't. Whales, jellyfish. This is a little travel one. Looks like with toucan, and let's see, what else do we have here? Moons, moons and stars, moons and clouds. This one's got a lemur in it. Sunset, rainbow, animals. So even just doing this for like 5 minutes, what am I seeing? I'm not seeing cucumbers. I'm not seeing tomato slices. I'm not seeing really any foods at all. I'm not seeing any foods at all. I'm seeing animals, flowers, rainbows, ocean animals, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So if I want to do bedding and I want to get the attraction, dinosaurs, okay, another dinosaur here. If I want to get the attention of somebody who sells bedding, I better do a really cute lion, zebra, giraffe. I know it's been done, but people want what is already out there. There's like 17,000 of these. If I'm doing a little forest theme for my baby, I'm going to look at all of these ones and find where's the cutest one. This is super cute. Look at that little chubby bear. So adorable, right? But no spiders, no cucumbers. Okay. So no matter what your category is, and I do recommend choosing a category, you should for sure do online shopping and see what is out there in that category. All right, so the second mistake that I saw a lot is mixing styles in one design or a collection. All right? Specifically in one design, that reads quicker, and that can be a real clear kind of mistake. But as you develop your skill set, you want to also keep your styles consistent throughout a single collection if you work in collections. So here's an example of something like that. This is a shell design where you can see, this is, I created this to kind of illustrate the point, but you can see there's a sketchy, kind of loose painterly shells. There's like tie-dye, watercolory shells. There's really flat silhouettes. There's text in there. There's, the dotted lines and stuff like that. So there's a lot happening in here, and there's a lot of different styles. Now, I just created this to illustrate the point, but it would be really much more clear if I had like hand painted some shells instead of just kind of putting that watercolor texture over it. Like that's what something that I've seen where it's like digital silhouettes with hand painted icons, with text, with outlines, with this, that, the other. It's like all that in one design is a little bit confusing. So a way to fix this mistake is choose your favorite style from one print and rework the other elements. Okay, so I'm showing you what my original design for this was on the left with the squares. So you can see that there is a little bit of a mix of styles, a little bit, but it works together. So that's something, you know, all of these rules are rules that, you know, or mistakes, I should say, are mistakes that can be stretched in one direction or another, but knowing how to do that can take some time and knowing where that line is. So you can see I have these sort of flat shapes and then sort of flat outlines with a little bit of extra interest. Now, originally on the right hand side of the screen, you can see that those kind of sketchy brushwork shells. And that's what I drew originally when I was going to do this print. And then I just realized that that wasn't quite working. And so I went for a flatter version. And so I remade the shapes instead of trying to work those brushy shapes into the design. So sometimes you're going to have to go back. Maybe you make a pattern that has fruits and you have hand-painted cherries, and then you have digitally drawn pears, and you have whatever, outlines of apples. Pick one of those things that you like, or maybe two maximum, depending. Again, you're going to have to kind of figure out that line. And then redraw all your elements in that single or potentially double style. But I recommend starting with single. As you get more confident, you can start pushing those lines. The third mistake I see a lot with amateur surface pattern designers is taking too much artistic license with food and holidays. Okay, this is a hard-learned lesson that after 20 years in this industry, I can tell you confidently, blue strawberries aren't going to work, okay? We can take a little bit of artistic license. Not everything has to be perfectly natural, red strawberries, perfectly, colored, and flowers, obviously, you can take a lot more artistic license with. But what I have found in the comments I have gotten from art directors over and over again is, when it comes to foods and when it comes to traditional holidays like Christmas and Halloween and St. Patrick's Day, customers don't really want you to get creative. They don't want a Christmas design that's, blue and purple and gold. I mean, yes, does it exist in the world? Sure, of course. There are high-end designs that are, you've seen trees in like beautiful magazines where it's like all blue and purple balls or something, like peacock colors. Sure. Does it exist? Yes. Do most art directors want to buy that and put that on their products? No, because most people are looking for red and green for Christmas. Most people are looking for natural colors for fruits and vegetables, and so I recommend you stay away from really unnatural colors. Again, shop the market. You're going to see that colors tend to be pretty basic. If you can find a blue strawberry that's on like a dress or something that's not print on demand, not something that another artist has created and hopes someone buys, but is actually, being produced, you're not going to see many. You're going to see 1,000 yellow lemons. You're not going to see lemons that are, cantaloupe colored or whatever. So I'm just showing you here a couple examples from my own portfolio. You'll see here that I did these two designs, and they're not, exactly fruit colored, of course. Pears aren't orange, but they're in the natural realm of like the warm colors and the things, the green leaves are seafoam green. Yes, no fruit has seafoam green leaves, but they're sort of in the realm. But when we get to something like this, where colors are really stretching it and are really, there's no, natural world example of like blues and gray fruit, this is where we really go over the line, and it's just never going to be picked up for anything. I also just wanted to make that point for holidays as well. At the end of the day, these sort of more traditional holiday colors, Thanksgiving in these fall colors, is always going to work. I know as artists we want to be creative and interesting and do something different, but like a pastel Thanksgiving design is just never going to be picked up. So keep that in mind as you are designing. I know sometimes it's hard to limit yourself, but if you're looking to make a portfolio that gets picked up by art licensing companies and art directors, you're going to want to be a little bit more traditional with your color choices. All right, the fourth mistake I was seeing on Spoonflower, and I've definitely seen it out in the Instagram world and what have you, is mirroring or stacking a doodle and thinking it's interesting. Okay, this is a little bit of a hard truth one, all right? But I think when people first discover surface pattern design, it's like, whoa, anything kind of looks cool when you repeat it out multiple times, right? And especially, if we think about Procreate, where you can do like mirroring and you can do those things where you're drawing and it kind of basically makes a mandala, and like so it's reflected like 8 different times. It's cool. It is cool. It's awesome. But that doesn't mean that it's like a marketable surface pattern design. So here I made this weird little blob, and I'm showing you that like this is the kind of thing that amateurs on Spoonflower and other sites think is like, oh, I just made my first surface pattern, and you did. And again, it's not this is not to shame anyone, but this is just to say this does not make you a designer who is going to earn their living doing surface pattern design. And if that's what you're going for, if you took a class to learn surface pattern design because you were kind of sold the dream of, I can design my own fabrics, and then, I can make some extra money for my family, and I can be a surface designer, well, you're gonna need to learn how to make things that are commercially viable. So doing this doesn't make it interesting. Making it into a mirror doesn't make it this is still not a commercially viable design. Even stacking, but then kind of bricklaying. This is a better design, but it's still not really that commercially viable, because at the end of the day, it's just some weird shapes. One is vaguely floral, but beyond that, it's just weird shapes. So we have to be really deliberate. It's okay to have abstract, of course, but you have to be really deliberate about what's in the market. If you're doing this for fun, again, get weird. Do whatever you want to do. I encourage it. I love to see creativity. But if it's for your portfolio, and if your portfolio is something that you hope gets you surface pattern design work, find a market example to decide if it's too weird. Again, go shopping. Do the exercises where you're looking at products in the category that you hope to get work in. All right, so here I'm showing you want to do tablecloths, and look at this. This is mirroring. This is stacking of kind of like slightly abstract or geometric shapes, but you can see that it's a little bit different than what I was doing before. You can see one is sort of like block printing, sort of Indian block printing inspired, and the other one is just sort of a geometric. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't even say that that's my favorite on the right-hand side, but the point is, see what's out there and try to discern the difference between that and the doodles that you're doing, and making sure that you're kind of in line with what's happening in the market. And the fifth common mistake that I see is not enough contrast in colors. So here would be an example of a rose print that I designed, and you want something a little bit soft, you want something, kind of pretty, something subtle, but this is a little bit too subtle for Again, product, right? The whole point of surface pattern design is for product. Now, this might look okay on the screen close up, but imagine this as fabric in a store. If you're walking by a shelf full of bolts of fabric, this quickly looking at it is going to just look like blue, green, whatever, seafoam green, nothing, you know? You're not going to be able to determine that this is actually roses. And if this was on a notebook on a shelf from far away, again, you're really not seeing that you're not getting credit for this artwork. When you have colors that are too close together, you are not getting credit. So what can we do to fix this? First of all, I love to always look at my art as a thumbnail. All right, I'm going to show you that in a second. But if necessary, do a light squint, you know, or stand across the room. Is it clear? Can you see what it is? Are you getting credit for the design? So here I'm showing you, I always use Adobe Bridge. And so I'll go back and forth between my actual design on my, you know, in Illustrator and my Adobe Bridge. So look in the very center is that no contrast, as you can see. That's like my mock-up version of that. And that, you know, I can't see what's really happening. It's small. I can't really tell that it's roses, you know, and it's just not reading. But all these other prints in this collection, I can see what's happening, right? I can read, you know, some are smaller than others. Obviously, you can see I've got some patchwork things going on, so it's a little bit more difficult. But most of the regular designs, I can see what's happening and it's clear. So if you're interested in learning more about how I use Adobe Bridge, I have a course called Adobe Bridge for Artists, and it goes into, you know, ways to use Adobe Bridge. It's one of my favorite programs and it's really underused. And if you have Adobe CC, then you can get access to Bridge for free. And it's so useful. So I really recommend that course. It's a short course and an inexpensive course, but it will change your life. I promise you. All right. One last mistake. I know I said 5, but I've got a bonus for you. And that is thinking that all surface pattern design is pattern. I know, it says pattern in the title. Surface pattern design is pattern, you're thinking. And okay, technically, you know, I have a video on what we call on what is surface pattern design. And I talk about all the different terms and like surface design versus surface pattern design and blah, blah, blah. However, in practice, surface pattern design, if you're a person who is a surface pattern designer and you're making your living at surface pattern design, that means you're basically creating art for products, right? In practice, a surface pattern designer is doing art for mass manufactured products. And those are not all patterns. So if your portfolio is only patterns, you might be missing out on some really wonderful product opportunities and art opportunities. So this is just a small sample of some of my products that I've created that aren't all patterns. On the left, you can see those are planner stickers. And yes, I do have some patterns worked in there, but honestly, the bottom left, the little X's, that looks like a pattern, but guess what? Like I just did that small square. It's not necessarily in repeat, right? Because it's very small. I just need that square of it. I don't need it to repeat for ages and ages. I just need it to fit into that little stamp-sized sticker. So even things that look like patterns might not be patterns, but as you can see, I have things that aren't patterns at all. And then you can see with wall art in the center top picture, wall art that I have, that Hello Summer is like a sign for your yard. Some more planner stickers also showing up there. Then next to it is some stamps that I've designed going down, flag, boxes, greeting cards, and then finally coming back around is the Halloween pots. And so as you can see, I do a lot of art that isn't specifically patterned. And sometimes it starts as a pattern and then gets broken down into individual pieces. And sometimes it starts as an illustration and maybe I turn it into a pattern later. But there is more to designing art for products than just like fabric design or wallpaper design, right? Way, way, way more. So remember that not everything needs to be a pattern. All right, so that is my rundown for today. I hope that was helpful. Please leave a comment if it was. Let me know any other mistakes that you've seen out there. And remember that practice makes progress. Again, this is not about shaming. This is about learning. So I hope that this helps. And I hope that this gives you an idea of how to give some fresh eyes to your artwork, so you can start thinking about how to reach out to those art directors and make surface pattern design part of your income and your professional career. If you found this video helpful, I definitely recommend you check out the original video that I did about amateur mistakes, and then download my free guide for 14 layout ideas for pattern design so that you can get beyond that typical tossed layout that I talk about in my original video. This is definitely a game changer, so check out the link in the description to get that layout guide for free. If you love learning about surface pattern design and creative business, be sure to subscribe to this channel and follow me on Instagram at esilverdesign. Also, I would be super grateful if you shared this channel with your surface pattern friends.